Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm Sam. Welcome back to another video. I sent you guys a little prompt over on YouTube community tab. Ask for your questions, and these are the best ones. This is a good way to start out because I've been wondering the same thing. We've heard about Apple's March 25th event, right? That's happening in just about a week. I like Apple, but do you think their entertainment streaming service is going to be good? I mean, it's Apple. And I've asked myself the same thing. I've seen what Apple's put out as far as carpool karaoke. They bought the rights to that from James Corden, I believe. Also, this absolutely terrible, no one should watch Planet of the Apps. It was like this app competition show with will.i.am, and I tried to get through a couple episodes, but it was weird. The acting was a little off. I guess it wasn't really acting because it was real, but the developer, contestant, judge interaction with the host, I can't remember if there was a host. It was just a weird show. It was a bad show. I think the website might still be up. This is what gets me worried about Apple getting into original content. Pepsi, Coke, or RC Cola, I honestly do not really drink soda ever. I think the first soda I've had in like 6 months was yesterday, and it was a Coke. It was okay. What do you think the iPad 10.5, the $500 one, we actually don't know the pricing, so everybody calm down. But what we called, personally, I think it'll be called iPad Air 3. That is the best name that I could come up with. Unless Apple was to introduce like an iPad mid, because they have mini, they have pro, they just have iPad. If they throw a fourth different sort of iPad line in there, I could see iPad mid, I could see iPad a la carte. I have zero idea what Apple would call it because their product line is extremely confusing. But you know what? iPad Air 3 sounds like the best possible option. That's a good mix of what Apple has done and what they could do for this new iPad. How old are you? I am actually about to be 21 this week, and I feel like an old man. I don't want to grow up. Do you think the iPhone 6s and iPhone SE will be getting iOS 13? I know there was a report saying that they were not going to, that Apple was going to cut support from the iPhone 6s, from the iPhone SE, and then also from the iPhone 6 as well, and a number of other iPads, and the iPod Touch 6. I don't think that's going to be true. I don't see Apple cutting off software support early because one of the things that Apple always touts about buying an iPhone is that you get really good, solid software updates for 3, 4, 5, 6 years after you buy your phone. Is it confirmed that AirPods 2 are coming in March? Well, two sources have confirmed that date, but Apple themselves has not leaked anything. We don't have official 100% infallible word that AirPods are coming in March 29th. I think that an AirPods wireless charging case will probably be coming them. I think some new AirPods tweak, whether it's a case, whether it's a color, whether it's improved audio. I think something's coming because AirPods haven't been updated in over 2 years. And they're one of Apple's most popular products now. I can't see them waiting another 3 months to touch such a big product for them. And a lot of people I know are eagerly waiting to upgrade. That's just gonna be free money for Apple. Thoughts on Spotify suing Apple? I read about this and Apple even responded, which is so weird. Moral of the story is that Spotify's upset that they claim Apple is treating them unfairly. Now, whether or not that's true, it's the classic. Spotify saying one thing, Apple treats us unfairly. Apple saying, no, we love Spotify. We really hope they keep using our platform. At the end of the day, Spotify basically wants Apple to let users subscribe to Spotify through the Spotify app on iOS, and they don't want Apple to take a cent of the revenue from the Spotify $10 a month streaming service. Right now, for subscription services on the App Store, Apple takes 30% the first year and 15% of that recurring revenue the second year that a user stays subscribed, and so on and so forth in the future. It stays at 15%. Spotify's mad because that's a lot of money. That is likely millions and millions of dollars a year. But Apple also restricts Spotify heavily from really telling users how to subscribe to Spotify Premium in the first place. So there's some controversy there. Should Apple allow Spotify to easily tell users how to upgrade and not have to pay Apple anything along the way? Or is it Apple's platform and Apple gets to make the rules no matter what? Where are you from? I'm from St. Louis and I'm actually back there right now for spring break. Let's go. What's your opinion on AirPower and its release date? Well, we still have nobody actually saying when for sure AirPower is coming. I think it might come out sometime around Apple's March event, either before or after, but it could just never come out. Apple has scrubbed the term from their website. They did that months ago. They haven't talked to any media. Like when people asked about it in the past, they've just been dead silent. We haven't seen a report about it recently. Apparently it started production, but now at this point, I don't actually care. I thought I wanted this product for a while. If it comes out of it, I'm gonna get it. If it doesn't ever come out, I'm just gonna be sad and lonely, and I'll use my single device wireless charger. Which camera setup do you think Apple will go with for the upcoming iPhones in 2019? It looks like it's going to be the square. I don't necessarily want it to be either of these though. I like these renders from iDrop News and Martin Hedgeck that we saw a long time ago, where they're sort of just, you know, normal looking, but Apple's apparently not going to be normal this year. They really want this to stand out, and I guarantee if they use the square one, that doesn't really look like much else that's on the market right now. That is very unique, especially with like the diagonal lining or line up for the cameras, the mic hole, the flash. Like there's no question when you see that camera on the back of a phone where it came from. It's going to be from Apple, and sometimes Apple likes to look different for the sake of being different, even though objectively, yes, it is ugly. I'm never going to not admit that this doesn't look amazing. Like two cameras like this looks a lot nicer than a random square. Will the new iPad, I assume this is the budget model, have a laminated display, less bezels, and a smart keyboard connector? No, for sure on the smart keyboard connector. We haven't heard that at all, but less bezels, yes, we're hearing it's going to basically get a slightly bigger screen going from 9.7 to 10 or 10.2 inches. And then also for the laminated display, fingers crossed that it's going to be a yes. Basically what a laminated display is when there's no air gap between the physical glass of the screen and the LCD or the OLED screen sitting below it. iPhone screens have been laminated for the longest time. Apple's Pro models have been laminated in recent history, but their budget iPad has not been laminated yet, which means that when you actually look at the screen or touch the screen, if you look really close, there's a slight air gap. To show you this better, I'll try to find a good picture online, but it really does annoy me when I use it, just because it's cool that when you use an iPhone, you know, it really feels like you're touching the icon, you're touching the content. When it feels like you're not, it just sort of takes away from the overall experience. I'm using the iPad, I'm scrolling around online, but I'm touching this piece of glass rather than really touching what sits below. Any updates on the 27-inch iMac refresh? If you are in the market for any other non-iMac Pro iMac, it sounds like there could be updates just around the corner, according to a very hinty tweet from Mark Gurman, very well-respected Apple blogger over on Twitter. Surface Go or iPad 2019? I don't have much experience with the Surface at all, so I can't give you tons of advice on that. As a general rule of thumb, I would say if you want a Windows experience, buy the Microsoft Surface Go. If you like iOS a lot, you already have Apple products like the Mac and the iPhone, then the 2019 iPad is probably the better option for you. Do you know everything Apple Pro? Not personally, I've never met the dude in real life, but we've texted a little bit, we've talked a little bit before, and he seems like a really cool guy. What Apple product are you most excited for this year? Definitely the new version of AirPods. I want to get the version that's going to come in black, that's going to have a new finish, that has improved bass response, that comes in a wireless charging case. That is the version of AirPods I want. The jury is still out on whether or not that version's coming soon in March or later in fall of 2019. But I know it sounds cliche, I know it sounds like you're going with the hype, but I promise you guys, heart to heart, me to you, that I genuinely like AirPods, and I'm not just making videos about them because they tend to be pretty popular. Have you had any screen burn on iPhone 10 or 10s? No. I remember that was a big worry when the iPhone was rumored to be going to OLED, but I've never had an issue where something has burnt into my screen. With some OLED, there's an issue where, like, let's say you leave it on the settings app, although I think I have seen this on iPhones that maybe have a certain carrier loop that plays onto them or a certain screen on them all the time in carrier stores. On my phone though, I've never had an issue where like settings will still sort of show up when I go to a different screen. It just has never been an issue for me because Apple has properly optimized the OLED screen. What happened to the rumored HomePod Mini and StudioPod headphones? They're still probably on the way. We just haven't heard a lot about them recently. The HomePod Mini, gotta be like the HomePod, but just a little bit smaller and likely more affordable with hopefully comparable sound quality. And then the Apple over-the-ear or over-ear headphones are going to be interesting as well. Said to be ultra premium, really good sound quality, but those are another product launching in the later half of 2019 rather than earlier. How blind are you without glasses? Not that blind. When it comes to reading things up close, like I can't read these comments with my glasses not on properly, but overall, like I could still see you guys. I could do a video if I needed to without my goggles on. What will be your favorite iOS 13 feature? If dark mode comes, then it will absolutely be dark mode. Aside from that though, I am very much looking forward to the home screen redesign. I think iOS has been in desperate need of a home screen redesign for a long time, and 2019 is the year that it could finally be happening. I'm not saying that this isn't really good or easy to use. I'm just saying that it's quite boring considering the fact that it has not changed in nearly any way in over 10 or 11 years now. I'm bored of it. I want something fresh. Can you show us your studio office setup? I promise it's not more complex than this when I'm at home. This is like my spring break office in my parents' house back in St. Louis. It's literally just like a wall with these app icon things behind them. I've got a desk, and I don't even have my iMac here, so it's very boring. Light here, microphone here, and then camera is what I'm looking at right now. And then this is a little secret, a little lighting secret for you guys that took me a long time to figure out. You want to have a white poster board or a reflector on the other side of you if you want to get that softer light reflecting back on your face, so that this side of your face is evenly lit. If I do this, for example, you can see like it doesn't reflect as well, and when you do this, there, it like fills in kind of my face. And it's pretty cool. All right, those are all the questions I'm going to be taking for now. Look forward to another Q&A, hopefully sometime next month. In the meantime, stay tuned here for the latest Apple news. I've been Sam. Hope all of you are doing fantastic, and I will talk to you in my next video.